Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you are tuning in. This is Unapologetically Me, featuring me. No special guest, just me. Just want to start out by saying to my subscribers, thank you so much. If you are returning, I love you and I very much appreciate you. If you are new to the channel and you don't know who I am or what I'm all about, I got plenty of videos for you to figure it out because I'm new and I'm all over the place. So lucky for you, you can see all sides of me. Just go ahead and scroll on through. And I hope that you find something that you like and you subscribe, and we have just a wonderful, wonderful experience together. So let me just say, obviously, we are talking about Ethan Crumbley. He had his, oh dear. He had, son of a bitch. He had his, it would definitely not be a video of mine if I didn't have some kind of issue. Okay. Where are we? Court appearance. He had his court appearance on January 7th, which was last Friday. So I apologize that I'm late. I've been working on the Aiden Fucci and Tristan Bailey case. So I'm a little bit behind on where I'd like to be with some of the current cases that are going on and having updates more regularly. So shut up, Sharon, and let's get the people what they want. Okay. So the parents were also there for a bond hearing. They wanted it reduced. Obviously, we knew about this. $500,000. They wanted it reduced down to $100,000. So both of these court dates were done via Zoom. So when let's do the parents first, because they are a little bit more interesting at this moment because I just can't believe them. But anyway, so the defense has said, they opened up with the defense, and the defense said there are many false statements being made by the prosecution right now, which, yeah, possibly, the prosecution is going to try to paint a horrible picture of the Crumbleys, and the defense's job is to paint a much prettier picture, or at least take the picture that the prosecution has painted and maybe delete a couple mistakes here and there. So anyway, the defense says that there's false statements, and the first one of that is the extramarital affairs. I said in my last video about this that they were saying that Jennifer was having extramarital affairs. They say that they have proof of this. However, defense says this is not only untrue, but it's also irrelevant when it comes to bond. They said that this was said by prosecution in order to, with the intention to create conflict between both James and Jennifer. And there is no conflict. So their plan didn't work, in a sense, because there are no extramarital relationships. It's not an issue. Also, they said that this finding falls outside of the scope of the search warrant, and goes against their Fourth Amendment rights. Number two, in regards to the gun not being secure, there's a journal. Okay, we all knew about this journal. They found this journal written by Ethan. And in that journal, there's a part where Ethan states that he has to find the gun. He says that he needs to find where his dad hid his gun. So this statement contradicts what the prosecution has been saying, which states that the gun, or she's been saying the gun was made available to Ethan, whereas Ethan wrote in his journal that he has to locate it. So that means it is hidden. He doesn't know where it is. And three, the torturing of the animals. Ethan was very private about this. He even wrote in his journal that his parents didn't know about this, and he was very secretive about this, I don't know what you would call it, hobby, which he wrote in his journal. So they're saying these things, and prosecution is saying, you know what though, regardless of that, the Crumbleys are a flight risk, and they've proven this when they already tried to flee. So Karen McDonald said, when determining a person's risk of flight, you have to look at a few things. One of those things is that you have to consider their ties to the community. Are there ties to the community? Are there things keeping them in their community? And then another thing that you have to look at are ties to the state. What's keeping them in the state? So, according to her, they don't have ties to either of these things anymore, and that is what is creating some doubt on whether or not they will try to flee. You have to look at employment, she says. Jennifer's employment was terminated right after all of this happened, and James is a DoorDash worker. So while it's not like a secure type of employment position, and not just because it's a DoorDash, because people know James Crumbley now. They know Jennifer Crumbley. They know their son. They know what he's done. Are they going to want this guy as their DoorDash delivery man? So, it's kind of saying that they don't have ties as far as employment. As far as a home, their home is on the market. It's listed to be sold. So they're kind of homeless at this point. Sure, they can go and stay at that home, but it is on the market. It is for sale. So to say how long they would have that home, nobody knows. 3, all of their possessions are being removed from the home and put into storage. And they're being put into storage and handled by family of theirs that live in Florida. So they don't have family in Michigan. They have family in Florida. She didn't say whether or not these possessions are being moved to storage in Florida, or she did say that they're being handled by their Florida family. So I don't know if their possessions are even in Michigan or if they're going up to Florida, or down to Florida, I should say. Also, they did actually sell all of their horses. So no more horses, no more house, no more job. The community hates them. Kind of comes with the territory when you're neglectful and your son goes and shoots up a school and ends up killing innocent children. And like I've been saying, all the family lives in Florida. So what are their ties here? They have no ties to the community. They have no ties to employment, a home even, their possessions, and they have no ties to the state because they don't have family there. Their family's in Florida. In my opinion, defense could argue that their son is here still, awaiting trial, and will probably be imprisoned here in Michigan. So why would they leave? But, the way that they've acted as far as parents go, obviously none of their actions have proven that their son is worth a damn to stay for. I don't know. And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh. My anger is kind of through the roof when it comes to these parents of Ethan. I just can't with them. The arrogance that they show every time that they're on a Zoom in court, especially Jennifer. It's just sickening. So she created somewhat of a timeline of why she feels that they would be a flight risk. And here is some of that timeline. And then, we'll get into the evidence of that. And then I will show you the videos. So, 4:42 p.m., the day of the shooting, 4 hours after the shooting, to be exact, there was a text from Jennifer to a family member in Florida about selling her horse's stat. They also had purchased a total of 4 cell phones, 2 of which had duplicate numbers, 2 which they did provide that to the police, but they also bought 2 additional phones that they did not provide numbers for. They drained their son's bank account, withdrawing $3,000 from his account and depositing it into their account, leaving their son with a balance of 99 cents. Despicable. December 1st, 9 a.m., they check into a local hotel in Oakland County. They say this is because of threats and everything like that. Understandable. It happens. I get it. 11:23 a.m., Jennifer texts family again about the sale of the horses for $5,000. December 2nd at 9 a.m., they withdraw $2,000 from their bank account. And text messages on this day reveal that they do know at this point that they were probably being charged the next day. December 3rd at 9:30 a.m., they checked out of their hotel and abandoned their second car in the back parking lot with the license plate facing to the back. Not sure what that means. I don't know if they only had one plate on their car, because a lot of times you only have to have the back, not the front. So I don't know if they just reversed their car or if they actually took their plate off backward. I don't know. She didn't clarify that. I would assume they just reversed their car to the back. I don't know, but anyway, my opinion. So 10 a.m., Jennifer calls a friend of hers, Andre Sakura, saying to him that they need someplace to sit while waiting for decisions to be made. They had nowhere else to go. Not exactly true. They were already at a hotel. Why didn't they just stay? I don't know. 10:05 a.m., Jennifer responds to a text about finalizing the sale of the horses. She also indicates to that person that they're still awaiting charges. They're supposed to know by 12 p.m. noon. Then they go and withdraw an additional $4,000 from their bank account. And then they drive to a location in Detroit. Now, we all know this location in Detroit. They did an interview with Andre Sakura, who is supposedly a family friend, or a friend of Jennifer's. And he offered his warehouse/studio as a place for them to stay. And he was interviewed too, so I'm assuming they got a lot of this information that I'm about to share with you from him. But the hotel, just to throw this in there though, and the prosecution states this, that the hotel that they were staying at was across from a police station. Not the police station, but a police station that they could have turned themselves in at. So had they just waited it out until noon and had intention of turning themselves in, it would have made sense for them to stay in the hotel and then leave and go to turn themselves in. But now they're in Detroit. They are 40 miles away from where they need to be in order to turn themselves in. And they left to do this at 10. And they're, it's only 2 hours before they find out. At 12 p.m., charges were announced. And once they were at the Detroit location, they never left that warehouse except for to smoke. And when James moved the car from where it was to repark it to where the license plate would not be visible. At 1:30 p.m., they told Andre that they had formally been charged and that they now need some provisions. They requested vodka, orange juice, some socks, and a couple other food items, and Andre also provided them with a mattress and bedding. So, they now know, they've been knowing, they've been telling people that they know that they're going to be charged at noon. It's now 1, they've been charged, they know that they've been charged, and now they're asking for provisions to not turn themselves in. Now, this is where they're screwing up, because I feel like them withdrawing money, you can say, well, I'm withdrawing money to pay my lawyers. But what's your excuse for this nonsense? 10:47 p.m., the Crumbleys' defense attorney tells prosecutors that they would get the Crumbleys in, that the Crumbleys would not have paid them the amount of money that they paid them for this case if they had any intention of running. 10:50, officers respond to the warehouse where the Crumbleys are. After a man calls 911 and reports that he saw the Crumbleys and their vehicle outside of this location. Law enforcement enters the building, announcing themselves both loudly and repetitively. The Crumbleys do not come out and say, hey, here we are. Instead, they remain behind a locked door. When police do find them after breaking through the locked door, the Crumbleys were found crouched behind a mattress on the floor. So they're hiding. They're hiding. When taken into custody, they were in possession of over a dozen credit cards and gift cards. They had about 10 credit cards on them. They had gift cards, they had Jennifer's social security card, they had 4 cell phones, and they had $6,600 in cash. 2 of these phones were track burner phones. One of the other phones was smashed with visible attempts to try and destroy it, according to prosecution. Evidence. So as far back as March of 2021, Ethan began texting his mother, seemingly during times when he was home alone, stating that he believed that there were either demons or a ghost or another person in the house. He would repeatedly text his mother things like this when he was home alone, and things that he was perceiving that was going on inside the home. Jennifer sometimes took as much as a few hours to respond to some of these messages. You know, she can't be bothered. She just could never be bothered by him and his issues, and it's just sad because that's your son. Your son's issues are your issues, you know, and now you're paying for it. Ethan's cell phone evidence. So Ethan's cell phone shows that in May of 2021, that's when he began torturing and killing animals, as far as there's any evidence of. But this is in May. The incident happened in November. So he video recorded himself doing this, and he was at his home when he did it. So this was going on at their home. He kept a bird head in a jar in his room for 6 months. Now, I don't know about you guys with kids, but I go in my children's rooms. I go in there to clean because there's always water bottles and some kind of trash. And I just, and even my oldest, my 18-year-old, she's gone, and I'll walk by her room and air it out, and go and it's not that I go through all their shit, but I would definitely notice if there was a jar with a bird head in it in their room. I would think that you could smell it. And I'm always searching for what's that smell in my kid's room. Did the dog poop in here? Like, what smells like that? And I'm going through everything. So I don't understand how they really, I just don't think they went into their son's room. I don't think that they had much communication with their son. There was evidence that he was creating Molotov cocktails. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a bomb in a bottle. He searched school shootings and guns and ammo so much on his phone that he was getting spammed mental health things, such as, check your mental health. And, you get those spam things. If you start talking about things a lot or Googling things a lot, you'll start getting all these spam messages to check out this or check out that. So he was getting ones for firearms, obviously, and he was also getting ones for mental health. So even Google or the internet at this point, Safari, whatever, is noticing that this kid whoever's looking these things up may have some issues. He was into Nazi propaganda. Nazi symbols were sketched on what appeared to be a family notebook because on the other side was a grocery list. In August of 2021, he sent a photo of him holding one of James's other firearms. And he sent this to his friend, the friend that ended up moving away, his only friend. And there was a bunch of ammo laid out next to him. And he captioned that photo, "Time to shoot up the school. JK, JK, JK." So, just kidding. But he said it, and, now this is his phone. If his parents aren't going through his phone, they're not going to see these things. And I don't know. A lot of parents don't go through their kids' phones. However, if your kid's having issues, in my opinion, if my kid was having issues and thinking there's demons, like, I just would not have let these things go. But who knows? Who knows their situation? I said in my other video with Aiden, and I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not their parent. So I'm not going to sit here and say what they should have done or whatever. I'm just saying what I would have done if the situation was if I were in their shoes and I was aware of some of these things. Now, if they weren't aware of any of them, then I question, why were they not aware of them? Their son is young. Like, why are they not talking to their kid? He's telling her he's seeing demons and ghosts, and you know, and she's not questioning those things. That's just, I don't know. So, there's also a video showing that he knows how to use that gun that he bought, because I guess the full video shows him teaching Jennifer how to shoot it. The one that they bought for him on Black Friday, the one that he used in the shooting. A journal entry stated that he had not been doing any of his schoolwork lately, and he was surprised that his parents not only didn't notice, but they didn't care. Or they didn't seem to notice or care. Video of their hearing shows them shaking their heads. Jennifer's laughing and shaking her head, almost like, this is so ridiculous. Oh my gosh, no, that's not what happened. You know, but when they're left alone on the screen, Jennifer's communicating to James, and she mouths something that looks to me like she says bullshit at one point, like this is bullshit, or that was bullshit, or something. Her arrogance is infuriating to me. The fact that she's shaking her head and laughing, like, I understand they may be saying things that aren't 100% true, but at the same time, you need to think about what is going on here. 4 kids were killed by your son, but using a weapon that you bought him. When your son was doing all these things to cry for help, you did nothing. And they were shaking their head a lot about when the school told them to take him home. Well, then what did they do? You know, I don't understand. What did they do to help? So here's the video, or little snippets of the video that I talked about, of their hearing.
The evidence will show when the examination begins on February the 8th of this year. This case is strong. Defendants will be convicted. Once they're convicted, they would go to prison. They're charged each with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. It's important to remember that these counts of involuntary manslaughter are based upon alternative theories. They are not mutually exclusive. They committed these crimes by being grossly negligent in the storage of that firearm, or by breaching their duty as parents. The evidence admitted will prove both of these theories. The evidence will show that Ethan Crumbley was gravely troubled. He was fascinated with firearms. He was violent. He displayed terrifying tendencies and behaviors, and he literally sketched out what he had planned to do in his journal and his drawings. Even a cursory review of the forensic examination the cell phone seized showed that the negligence on the part of these defendants and their failure to perform their duties as their parents far precedes November the 30th. The evidence will show that as far back as March of 2021, Ethan Crumbley would text his mother, Jennifer, on more than one occasion, and always when he was home alone, that he thought there was a demon, a ghost, or someone else inside the home. These weren't one-time messages. He would repeatedly text what he was perceiving to his mother, who sometimes would not respond for hours. The evidence recovered from Ethan Crumbley's phone shows that in May of 2021, he was torturing and killing animals. He did this at the family home. He filmed himself doing it. That film was on his phone. Not only did he film those actions, but he kept a severed head from a bird that he had tortured and mutilated in a jar in his room for 6 months. The evidence recovered thus far shows that Ethan Crumbley was creating Molotov cocktails at the family residence as well. That phone extraction also revealed that he searched school shootings and firearms so often on his phone that he received spam advertisements regarding his mental well-being and firearms. We have found that Ethan Crumbley was also fascinated with guns and Nazi propaganda. He purchased a Nazi coin from Amazon and kept it in plain view in his bedroom. A notebook recovered from the family home was recovered. It appeared to have been shared by all members of the household, as it depicted Nazi symbols on one page and a grocery list on the other. He would regularly ask his parents when he could go shooting, and he bragged about how he'd been asking for a 9mm handgun. A second notebook found, not hidden, but in plain view in the family home, depicted pictures of firearms on literally every page. So at this point, Judge, the evidence shows a 15-year-old who has repeatedly informed his parent that he was hallucinating. The same 15-year-old continuously demonstrated tendencies that were worrisome, all able to be found by his parents. He demonstrated one real passion in life, and that was firearms. His parents obviously know what had been directly told to them, but they did not intervene. They did not schedule therapy, did not investigate what might be in his room on his phone or his browser history. They didn't even keep their other weapons secured. And we know that because there was a video recovered from Ethan Crumbley's phone from August of 2021 with him holding James Crumbley's .22 caliber Kel-Tec pistol in one hand, bullets in the magazine around in the chamber. He sent messages to a friend, "It's time to shoot up the school, JK, JK, JK." That was in August of 2021. The evidence will also show at the exam that Ethan Crumbley's one real friend, the one he sent that video to in August, left the state in late October. His parents knew that. They acknowledged the effect that it had on their son. And again, they failed to provide any type of intervention. Instead, they bought him what he desperately wanted, a 9mm Sig Sauer handgun. They bought that for him on November the 26th of 2021. Now we know they bought it for him because we have the video from Acme Firearms that shows Ethan Crumbley standing next to James Crumbley. Then we also know that Ethan Crumbley posted a picture of him holding that firearm that same day, talking about his new firearm. He went shooting with his mother, Jennifer Crumbley, at another shooting range on November the 27th. She posted on her social media page about her shooting the firearm and about his new Christmas present. We know that Ethan Crumbley posted pictures of that firearm on YouTube. They're given the opportunity to view the worksheet that Ethan Crumbley drew, what's been admitted is Exhibit 1 and 2. And they're told that immediate therapy is needed, immediate as in that day. They resisted, instead asserting that they couldn't possibly take him out of school because of work. We have since learned that Jennifer Crumbley's employer would have gladly given her the day off, and she did not have any meetings scheduled until later in the day. As you've heard Prosecutor McDonald state, Judge, we also learned that James Crumbley was a DoorDash driver, giving him ample opportunity, to bring Ethan Crumbley with him. When they were given the drawing, neither one of them bothered to mention that the gun drawn by Ethan bore a striking resemblance to the gun they bought for him 4 days before. They never bothered to mention they didn't keep the gun in a gun safe, locked and secured. They also never bothered to mention that Ethan had displayed any of the troubling behavior that I had outlined. Instead, he said they couldn't take him home, and Jennifer's words to end the meeting were, "Are we done here?" This caused the counselor so much concern that he gave them a 48-hour deadline to call therapy, or to begin therapy, or he would call CPS. And that is the evidence that will be admitted when those witnesses testify at the preliminary examination.
And then here's Ethan's.
Of Mr. Crumbley, and we are agreeing to appear by Zoom this morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Amy Hopp on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
And Ms. McKelvey.
Good morning, Your Honor. Deborah H. McKelvey, court-appointed guardian ad litem for Ethan Crumbley, and I have no objections to proceeding with this matter on Zoom this morning.
Thank you. Mr. Crumbley, this is Judge Carniak. Could you please state your name for us?
Ethan Robert Crumbley.
Mr. Crumbley, if any time you cannot hear or understand myself or any of the parties to the proceeding, will you please let the court know?
Yes.
And we're handling this proceeding today remotely instead of in person at the courthouse. Is that with your consent, Mr. Crumbley?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is the date and time scheduled for a probable cause conference. And I do see, have received just a few moments ago, a written waiver of a preliminary exam. So I just want to address that briefly. Ethan, you do have a right to a preliminary exam. You understand that?
Yes.
And it's my understanding that you have met with your attorneys, not once, but twice. You met with Ms. Lofton and Ms. McKelvey in order to discuss this matter regarding your preliminary exam. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And there's a form called waiver preliminary exam. Did you receive that, Mr. Crumbley?
Yes.
And did you read it and review it with your attorneys? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Did you read that form and review it with your attorneys?
Sorry, yes.
And did you understand it?
Yes.
And do you have any questions of the court regarding any of those rights?
No.
And you signed that document, correct?
Yes.
So you've been advised by 2 attorneys, but I'm also going to, on the record, just to make sure that you have absolutely no questions, also review.
Just a little snippet. So, I mean, I feel sorry for Ethan. We don't know everything yet. We know a certain amount, and I'm not excusing his actions at all. I believe he's exactly where he belongs. However, I think and I would hope that he gets the mental health evaluation that he desperately needs. And I hope that he gets some help, because I do feel like he could possibly be rehabilitated. And I know what he did was horrible. I know. And I can't imagine being in that community and being a family member of the victim, or, you know, the friends and everything that community has had to endure. My thing is, I just feel that the school really failed him. His parents desperately failed him. If that's even a thing, desperately failing someone, I don't know. I have no words for this poor kid and how hard he tried to say, I need help. Someone help me. These thoughts won't stop. I'm seeing demons like, Mom, help me. School, help me. Classmates, help me. I'm posting this stuff online. Like, someone call the cops on me, because I can't stop these thoughts. This is going to happen. Someone needs to stop me. That's what I see when I see and hear what he wrote in his journals that's been released, what he wrote on these tests, math tests that he turned in, what he said online. Like, you know, and as far as the parents, like I said, they could have said, you know, well, the money was for the lawyers and whatever. And, you know, as I'm listening to a lot of it, I'm like, well, that could have been for lawyers. You know, that, of course, they're running around getting money and selling horses and selling their house. They know that they're going to be in jail for quite some time, and they want their money to go to their lawyers so that they can continue having representation. Now, the fact that they don't give a shit about their son's representation and then steal money from him is just despicable, in my opinion. However, does that show that they're taking money out to flee? No, not necessarily. But hiding in a building when you hear, you've already known and you've already told people that you know that you've been charged, and now you are hiding. So why are you hiding? Are you hiding so that you can take care of some more things before you're taken away? Like, why? And you're not really planning on running, but you need to take care of some more affairs? Like, could be, you know? If I knew that I was being charged with something like that and I could possibly be in prison for up to 10, 15, 20 years, like, I would want to get my affairs in order as well, you know? So is there evidence of that we're not being told about? Like, that really they're just trying to get their affairs in order before they go and turn themselves in? Or were they planning on running? Now, the burner phones, that's a little sus, you know, a little bit sus. But, and the smashing of the phone, well, yeah, they don't want their conversations getting out. My opinion, this boy has been abandoned, and not just now, years ago. Back when he was 8 years old and his parents would leave him to go bar hopping, he's been on his own. And he had no one. His best friend moved away. His dog died. And his parents went hours without even responding to him when he was seeing demons and scared. And he began showing signs that he was disturbed at least 9 months prior was when he started throwing it out there that he wasn't okay. So, that's all I got for you guys today on this. Let me know what you think. Comment below. Like I said, I always try to be, you know, on both sides of things. I find certain things that they're doing disgusting. And the arrogance behind of Jennifer especially. But I also can say we don't know if they were planning on running. I do believe they were hiding. I don't necessarily, there were no plane tickets bought, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But either way, the fact that they hid, I knew that they were not gonna lower that bond. You hid, they had to search for you. You know, they spent money searching for you. And even when they walked into the building, you didn't say, all right, here we are. You know, we just wanted to get some affairs in order. We wanted to make sure things were taken care of. They didn't say any of that. They lied, actually. They said, well, we didn't have a phone, so we didn't even know we were charged. Yes, you did. You texted other people knowing damn well that you were charged. And once you were, you asked for provision so that you could still stay and hang out and drink and try to figure shit out. So, all right, I'm done yapping. I will talk to you guys later when I have some more content of other things. Who knows what I'm going to be coming up with next. I really would like to get a mommy thing out. So on my Bad Moms Club. But we'll see. I will stop rambling now and let you guys go on with your day. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. Like, comment, share, and talk to you guys later.